Hi everyone, this is Lara Hammock from the Marble Jar channel, and in today's video I'll do the first part of a two-part overview and tutorial of YNAB, a popular budgeting app. So I've been doing some research on different budgeting apps for my job as a financial mentor and also for this channel. I presented my overview of the pros and cons of the three most popular budgeting apps, Mint, YNAB, and EveryDollar in a previous video. In this video, I'll give you a tutorial/overview of the YNAB app from the perspective of a longtime Mint user. I'll tell you what I like about the app and what could use improvement in my view. So let's get started. First of all, YNAB is an acronym that stands for You Need a Budget, and it is a paid service. It's about $7 a month. They do give you a month to try the service out for free before you need to commit, and there's really nothing even remotely manipulative about this trial offer. They don't ask you for your credit card and then charge you automatically like many services do. Instead, when your time's up, you just can't access your accounts until you put in a method of payment for the service. If you are crafty, you can even find a deal for a longer trial period. Tran has a deal for a 3-month trial on his blog. Okay, so once you create an account and start your trial, YNAB runs through some welcome questions that are designed to determine a little bit about your reasons for and style of budgeting. I'm assuming these questions help to tailor the information that YNAB feeds to you both through the app and through email. So here we are now at the main page of YNAB, Budget. So by default, this is how YNAB sets up a budget. You can see we are on the budget screen right here. These blue bands represent budget category groups. Each group has a bunch of categories within it. So here's what they have set up for you by default. Immediate obligations, which are immediate necessities like rent, utility bills, and groceries. True expenses, which may not be happening this month, but you'll eventually need to pay for, like insurance, maintenance for your car, your house, and medical costs. Debt payments, this is reasonably self-explanatory. Quality of life goals, these are financial goals that you're saving for. And just for fun is like dining out and entertainment. So the good news is, if these aren't exactly to your taste, YNAB has a ton of flexibility in deleting categories, adding new ones, and essentially setting up your budget exactly how you want it to look. For example, my budget is set up totally differently than this. I essentially have my whole monthly budget, including immediate expenses and upcoming maintenance type expenses, in one budget group that is called monthly expenses. Then I have a group for savings, one for investments, and one for reimbursements. Suffice it to say, you can set it up however you want. So let me just demonstrate how easy this is. By clicking on the group name, you can change that to whatever you want. I'll call this one monthly expenses. Okay, so now you can easily change the categories underneath the group as well. So clicking on this line selects the category. Clicking on the name allows you to change the name. Now if I just want to totally delete this line, I can hit this delete button. Adding a category under group is easy too. Right next to the budget group name is a plus sign. You can hit that to add a category underneath the group. You can also add new groups up here by choosing this plus sign next to category group. Okay, so you can organize your budget any way you want. So far, this just seems like any other budgeting app, right? So now let me tell you a little bit about how YNAB is different. With typical budgeting apps, you would go through and budget what you think you might need for each category each month, right? So $1,000 for rent, $100 for utilities, $400 for a car payment, etc. You're basically forecasting how much money you will have each month, determining how you're going to spend that money across your budget categories, and then you are going to track your expenses against that forecast. With YNAB, you can only budget money that you actually have in hand. So there's no forecasting for income at all. And more than that, you are required to budget all of the money that you have, not just what you think you might earn in income for this month. So let me give you an example. Say I have a checking account with a balance of $500 in it and a savings account with a balance of $1,000. So today, I also just received my biweekly paycheck of $3,000. So let me just show you how to set these up. Down here under all accounts, you can see that I don't have any accounts set up. We're going to manually add these example accounts in now. These are going to be unlinked accounts since I am adding the balances and the transactions manually rather than pulling them directly from my bank. Pulling transactions directly requires that you link your accounts by signing in with your online credentials. It's super easy, but we're not going to go into that right now. Okay, so first I'll put in the checking account with a starting balance of $500. Next, I'll do a savings account with a starting balance of $1,000. Okay, so now that I have my 2 accounts set up, I'm going to enter my paycheck in from today of $3,000. So in order to add a new transaction, you need to go into the all accounts screen, and that's where all of your transactions are going to live. So right up here is a tiny little button that allows you to add a transaction. Choose that, and this paycheck will be going into my checking account today. The category is to be budgeted, more on that in a second. And make sure you put it in the inflow column to indicate that this is a deposit and not an expense, and done. Okay, so let's go back to the category we chose for so this is a YNAB thing. All income should go into this category. You'll notice back here on the budget screen, there isn't a line item for to be budgeted. So that's because to be budgeted income all goes up here into this big green to be budgeted banner. This is all the money that you have to budget right now. You can see it as a combination of the balances of my 2 accounts and the paycheck that I just put in for a total of $4,500. Okay, let's just pause for a sec to talk about how this works. I like to think of the to be budgeted fund as a big pitcher. Then your budget categories are a bunch of drinking glasses that need to be filled with, let's go with lemonade. So your rent cup needs a lot of lemonade since it's $1,000 a month. Your utilities cup needs a little less since that's only about $200 a month, etc. Your job is to fill up each cup with enough lemonade to last it through the month. Not too much, not too little. So right now we have a ton of money since we are budgeting with my balances from savings and checking. YNAB has 4 rules, 2 of which are relevant right now. Rule number 1 is to give every dollar a job. What that means is that you have to ensure that you have poured out all of the lemonade from this pitcher into the glasses, whether it's for things that you are spending this month or things that you are saving for later. Rule 4 is to age your money. So what that means is that to the extent that you have money left over at the end of the month, you want to start filling your budgets for next month. You really want to live on money that you made a while ago. That's how you're going to break the cycle of living paycheck to paycheck. So here, I'm going to distribute all of this money among the very simple budget that I just put together. In addition, I'm going to set aside $1,000 for a baby emergency fund, as Dave Ramsey would say. You can see that every time I fund a category, my to be budgeted balance goes down. If I still have money over at the end of the month, I'm going to start funding next month's budget so that I'm not living on today's money. Since I'm just starting out, I can't quite do that. In fact, with this first paycheck, I don't even have quite enough to fund all of my, what YNAB refers to as true expenses. So these are expenses that you may not have to pay this month, but you know they are coming up. YNAB really encourages you to embrace all of these expenses and fund them monthly. This is YNAB rule number 2. So for example, Christmas only comes in December, but it is a big expense. So you should be putting a little aside every month. Let's use that pitcher analogy again. Every month you put $50 in this category for Christmas, and it builds up each month until December when you have $600 to spend without having to go into debt or steal from your groceries budget or, God forbid, your retirement. Same goes for bigger medical expenses like upcoming surgery or insurance that is quarterly or semi-annually, and other things that are sporadic but are unavoidable. So you may have noticed that one other thing, and that is YNAB does not pre-populate the budget amounts for you. Since you can only put in the money when you have it in hand, it sets all your categories to 0 each month. So I learned a ton from Nick True's videos on this. For ease of use, Nick puts 2 things in the budget category title: the normal monthly amount that you spend and the date that the bill comes due. So for example, say my rent is $980 and it is due on the 1st of the month. So I would make my budget category title look like this. That way I know that when I get paid, if my rent is going to be due in the next 2 weeks before I get my next paycheck, I need to fund my rent account for $980 right now. This makes funding this category much easier than having to refer back to a previous month or dig into the goals section, which we'll talk about next. So join me in my next video where I finish up this overview by talking about goals, budget columns, credit cards, everyday use of YNAB, and reporting. Comments are always appreciated, and thanks for watching.